Hi and welcome back to another Amazon selling video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Nikki Kirk and I've been selling on Amazon doing retail arbitrage for just about 4 years now, and I've been really lucky over the last year to help some of you guys get started through both my ungating courses and my new beginner FBA Amazon training course. Today I'm going to cover what to expect for Amazon Prime Day as well as Q4 and just the RA calendar in general. Like every month of the year, what should you expect as a retail arbitrage seller? It was recently asked if a retail arbitrage Amazon selling calendar even exists, and I don't know if it does, but I thought why don't I just go ahead and put one together. So in this video I'm going to walk over it all for you, and I've also created it in a PDF format, so it's a new addition to my giveaway, which is free on my website. When you sign up for my email, you get the rank guide, you get the FBA prep checklist, and now you also get this Amazon retail arbitrage calendar. So if you want to sign up, the link is below. I'll call it out specifically, like sign up here. And if you've already signed up for my newsletter, you are already getting it in an email because anytime I release something new, I send it out to everyone. So there are a lot of Amazon calendars out there, but they're more for like wholesale and private label where you have to buy stuff overseas and it takes longer, the lead time is longer. We are just really buying stuff at retail already, so our calendar is a little bit different and we have a shorter like span of when we need to plan ahead for. First, I'm going to cover Amazon Prime Day. So it is rumored to be this month, June. Typically it's in July, but because of the pandemic last year, it got pushed to October, and now they're saying it's going to be June. People are guessing it's going to be the end of June. It's always 2 days actually, it's not just 1 day, so it's a 2-day event, and they will announce it like maybe a week or two before, but so far, as of this recording, they have not yet announced it. But what do you need to do to prep for it? Not much. It doesn't totally mean a lot. It's more for brands and for Amazon for all their devices, so the Kindle and the Fire Stick and all, I don't even know what they have anymore, but all those kind of things. If you're in the market for a device like that or like a printer or something for your business, it's a great time to shop. But other than that, I mean, there's just going to be more traffic on Amazon in general, so you'll probably see a sales increase. You might not though. Sometimes I don't see any increase at all. So people are probably going to ask you since they know that you're selling on Amazon and they think it all has something to do with it, and I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't really. There's just more traffic on Amazon in general. So you want to make sure you have inventory there, that you've priced it competitively, 5% of the buy box, and they're probably going to get more sales if you have stock there ready to go. But other than that, there's not really much to prep or plan for the days. Honestly, I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but when I used to work at Belkin, we would, look at it because we would offer stuff for sale those days, but we'd always look at it and the offers are kind of garbage. Like they're things you don't really want. They have the lightning deals that are like an hour or two and it's like random. I think people are just getting rid of their junk. But as a retail arbitrage seller, you don't really have anything you need to plan for it. Here is what Amazon said in 2020 were their best categories, in case you wanted to know, for Prime Day. They said bedding, wireless accessories, nutrition and wellness, arts and crafts and sewing, and healthcare. And honestly, those kind of make sense because where we were last year, right? We were doing board games and crafts, and we were concerned about health and wellness. Also, October, I don't know if that's necessarily get fit and shape season, but it kind of makes sense. So all that kind of stuff goes hand in hand. So if you're selling any of those categories, well, that might be good categories to stock up on. But like I said, I'm not doing anything different at all for Prime Day, so I don't necessarily think that you need to, but if you want to, it doesn't hurt. I'm not sure why they don't announce when it is exactly, but other retailers will also have sales on those days, so it might actually be a great time to go sourcing online. So like Walmart, Target, Kohl's, all those retailers usually also have sales on the same day, so it might be worth checking out for your store to just stock up and go sourcing that day. Online and probably also in store, but I think more online. Okay, so let's go jump into Q4 and the rest of the calendar year and just see what there is to really focus on as a RA seller. So in January, obviously the holiday is New Year's Day, and January in general has really great sales. You'll often see sales as same as like October and November. So while Q4 is over, like the technical months, which is, if you don't know, Q4 is October to December. It's the fourth quarter of the selling year. So retailers have quarters. So there's Q1, which is January to March, and so on and so on. So you got Q4, which is typically when retailers do the bulk of their profits and sales, which as an Amazon seller, you will also have the bulk of your sales typically in Q4, especially as a retail arbitrage seller. So while Q4 is technically over in January, you still are going to have a lot of sales in January because people are buying what they didn't get for the holidays. They have money that they got and they're just buying more. Like the spending hasn't quite ended, especially it's winter and people are often kind of cooped up. And what do we do when cooped up? We buy online. You'll also see more returns than normal in January, but I don't think it's anything crazy. I've never had like really crazy returns. They are more in January, but in general, I don't get a lot of returns overall. Sometimes people think they should stop sending in toys after December. Don't ever stop sending in toys. Toys sell year round, so definitely keep sending in toys if you found them, if they're good profit makers, if they have great ranks, send them in. January is also the time where you want to start sending in Valentine's Day candy, Valentine's Day cards, anything Valentine's Day, you want to start sending that in January. Actually, as soon as you see it. So if you see it at the end of December when the candy for Christmas is over, go ahead and start scanning and sending in Valentine's Day stuff. Which leads us into February, Valentine's Day. So obviously around the 1st of February, it's getting a little too close to send in FBA. Actually, it's probably a lot too close to be sending in FBA Valentine's Day stuff. But if you want to do FBM Valentine's Day, you can still do that. FBM is a great way to sell those items as long as you can. Get it to the customer before Valentine's Day or whatever the holiday is, but you can still make really good profit. So definitely consider doing FBM if you are wanting to keep that holiday stuff going for longer. For March, the really only holiday is St. Patrick's Day, and it's really not a big holiday. I don't ever really send stuff in. Sometimes I'll scan the Dollar Tree and just see what there is there, but in general, I don't really do anything for that holiday. Also in February and March is Mardi Gras. I'm not sure, I think it's in February, but again, I don't really do that one, but you will see, especially when I'm in the South, I see more Mardi Gras stuff. So it's definitely worth scanning if you're out there and you want to take a look at it. But March is when you'll start to see the spring stuff start to roll out. So gardening stuff, all that kind of stuff, you want to take advantage of that. Anything seasonal, though, when you can get in on the beginning of it is when you see the more profit because it's harder to find, and so people are going to Amazon to look for it. So in April, we have Easter. If it wasn't in March, Easter is a great holiday to buy seasonal stuff for. So candy, decor, decorations, napkins, plates, all that kind of stuff. Easter is a really high profit holiday, so I definitely recommend sourcing for Easter. Always, when you're doing FBM, you want to source on the beginning side of it. So depending on when it falls that year, you want to make sure you're sending all your stock in. Bundles are really great during Easter. It's also one of the last holidays you can send in candy because then we start to get into the meltable season for summer, which is where we're at right now. But so Easter is one of my favorite holidays to scan, and especially for candy. I just love the Easter candy. Now when we get to the meltables, which is April 15th, usually Amazon changes it all the time. It used to be May 1st, but now we're on April 15th. So when the meltable season starts, that's when you really want to FBM if you can, because you can make a lot of profit doing FBM meltables. Just make sure you can get it to the customer without melting, but in general, unless it's like a milk chocolate candy, you can usually get it there safely. Then May rolls around, and this is when the seasonal stuff really kicks off. So I just got done sourcing a ton of seasonal items in May, and I recommend that you also, even right now, because even though May is over, seasonal is still going on all summer long. So we're talking outdoor, pool, sports, garden, any kind of vacation-y, yard games, barbecue, picnic, outdoor eating, like napkins, plates, all that kind of stuff. You want to get all that seasonal stuff, you want to start sending it in. Mother's Day is the holiday in May. I don't typically do a lot myself, but if you do want to scan through there, Dollar Tree, the seasonal aisles at Walmart or Target, any kind of Mother's Day stuff, you might be able to find stuff. And then we come to Memorial Day. So you've got the flag stuff, the red, white, and blue, napkins, plates, all that kind of stuff. You want to send all of that in as early in May as you start to see it, and then you can, if it doesn't sell for Memorial Day, it'll still sell for 4th of July, so keep that stuff in stock and competitively priced, and you can get some great sales for that. So now we have June, and we covered Prime Day, which is usually in July, so it could be June or July. They're saying in 2021 and it's going to be in June. And then we also have Father's Day, which is not, again, it's the same as Mother's Day. It's not a huge holiday, but you might be able to find some giftable type stuff that will sell great on Amazon. June is also Pride Month, so if you see any kind of Pride stuff that might sell on Amazon, definitely be scanning it and see what the ranks are. All of this stuff, like I'm mentioning, any kind of seasonal item, you want to make sure you're backing it up. So if you see any stuff for Memorial Day, early May because it's like the last weekend in May, right? So you want to get it in early May for FBA. Obviously the Pride and Father's Day stuff, you want to get it in as early as you can. But if something lasts all month long, like Pride Month, you can probably keep sending it in all month long. And also FBM. June and July are also when Amazon sales typically start to go down. There's like a slump because people are outdoors doing stuff. They're not online shopping, unfortunately for us. But as long as you're focusing on replenishable, consumable, like grocery, topical things people are always going to need, you can still see some really great sales. Seasonal items are always really good, and that's kind of what I focus on in general during the summer months. But just know if your sales are slow, even if it's kind of harder to find stuff in store, that's totally normal. Just keep pushing through and send in what you can. In July, we've got the 4th of July. So like we said, all that Memorial Day stuff. And also we have back to school. So kids start going back to school in July, which is crazy. Also in August, also crazy. When I was in school, we went in September. But anyways, back to school really starts to show up in July in store. So start scanning as soon as you can. Back to school is a great time to be selling. You will find a lot of profitable items, so always scan. August is really when back to school is in full gear, so you're scanning literally everything: backpacks, lunch pails, pencils, markers, all that kind of stuff. If you find any kind of bundles, as always when you're scanning, instead of just scanning the UPC, if you scan the front of the item, you might find bundle listings. So definitely scan back to school, anything, even back to college type stuff, so decor for dorm rooms, all of that. August is kind of your last month for the seasonal items. They will still sell, but I would be careful as to what you still send in. Just if it's a really great rank, then it'll probably still sell. But I actually sold some or bought some pool items in August and they didn't end up selling. So just be careful. If it's a really low rank, it'll still probably sell. But if it's a little bit higher rank for the category, you might want to question if it's a good buy or not. You can always check Keepa for sales history for the last year. All the seasonal stuff, Keepa is a great way. If you're scanning it now to see what it did last year, it's a good indicator of what it'll do this year. So Keepa is always your best friend as a retail arbitrage seller. Okay, so now August is when you really want to start focusing on Q4. Start thinking about it and planning it. It's when you're going to get an email that confuses everyone every year. It's when Amazon sends the toy requirement for Q4. It comes out in August. And what it's telling you is, first and foremost, the main thing to understand is it's only talking about FBM, which is where I send the product direct to the customer. It's not referring to FBA, just FBM. What it's telling you is, if you want to sell in the toys and games category, first you have to be ungated, but after that, if you want to sell, you have to have hit certain benchmarks to do FBM. Again, only FBM. So if you want to do FBM, where you're sending the product straight to the customer, which is actually a great way for Q4 in general for toys, because you'll make more profit if Amazon's sold out and you can get it to the customer quicker. The customer will buy for you. But anyways, it's getting kind of into the weeds of it. But if you want to do that, you need to have made your first sale on Amazon before September 1st. So you really need to start planning this in August if you haven't already started your account. You want to get that up and going and make your first sale in any category by September 1st. Another requirement to sell toys FBM is that you have to have 25 FBM orders sold to be able to sell in toys. Now, the 25 orders can be any category. It can be grocery, topical, it can be back to school pens if you want to sell a bunch of pens. It can be anything, but it has to be 25 orders that you've fulfilled and have to have really great rankings. And I'm not going to get into all of that because I'll probably do a more deep dive video, and I probably already have, and if I can find it, I'll link it here. If not, stay tuned because I'll do another one when the time comes. But just know that you have to start doing your orders. So it's between, I think, August 14th and October 14th, so you do have a lot of time to do it, and it's a great time to learn FBM if you haven't yet. So if you start selling orders FBM before August 14th, it won't really count towards it. Dates are always changing, and Amazon hasn't yet come out with the dates, but that's usually what it is. It's a 2-month period, so just keep that in mind. In August is when you really want to start thinking about Q4. Okay, so now we got into September, which is Labor Day is the holiday. Again, it's just the day where people are out doing stuff, so they're not really shopping. Back to school is still going strong, and you should still send in stuff that is selling. So backpacks still sell actually all through Q4, so don't be afraid to send in backpacks. I wouldn't keep sending in any seasonal items though, and if you have any left, now's the time to start pricing them to, get rid of them, because people are not in their pools and outdoors as much, and so now we're focusing more on winter type stuff. So summer seasonal's dying down and now winter is picking up. September is a great time to now plan your Q4 strategy a little more. So research what brands are hot with the kids, what toys are coming out, what new movies are coming out, because usually they have toys that go along with it, or they have like home decor, blankets, bedding, all that kind of stuff. All a great time to start sourcing what the kids are doing and watching, because that's where your hot products are going to come from. September is also when you want to start sending in Halloween stuff. As soon as you start seeing it in store, start scanning it, because Halloween is a great holiday actually. So if you didn't know, there's a lot of people who love Halloween, and so costumes, candy, decor, all of it, great sellers. And now we've got into October, which is, you still want to be sending in Halloween. You want to make sure all your Halloween stuff is in FBA by like the first week of October, but you can still send FBM if you want to. And since we're still in Meltable, you can't actually send in any candy for Halloween anymore, and it really sucks. But you can also do it FBM. So another great way to make a profit, because in October, unless you're in a really hot area of the country, in general, things aren't going to melt when you ship them. So I ship Halloween candy, so definitely consider scanning Halloween candy. In October, you also want to start sending in Thanksgiving decor. Now, Thanksgiving is a little bit of a smaller holiday, but there is a lot of stuff, and I usually do a lot of like napkins and plates and, dish towels, aprons, all that kind of stuff for Thanksgiving does really well. October is a great time to keep sending in toys year round. And it's also when you want to start stocking your shelves for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. You actually have to have all your inventory into Amazon for those holidays by the 1st of November. You can keep sending stuff in, through all of Q4, but that's what Amazon is saying. If you want your stuff checked in and ready to go at the warehouse for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it needs to be there by November 1st, so make sure you're doing all of that in October. If you're worried your inventory is not going to make it in time, don't worry. Keep sending it in, because it'll keep selling all through Q4, through December, and if it doesn't sell even into January, it still might sell. So don't worry about that, just keep sending it in. Unless it's holiday specific, if it's like a general toy or like giftable item, it'll still sell. So now November is when you want to send in all your Christmas stuff. So source as much as you possibly can and use all the capital that you can to stock your inventory shelves, because when the end of November, early December comes, you're going to be amazed at the profit payouts that you're going to start to see. So keep sourcing, keep sending stuff in as often as you can. I source 2 times a week. Normally I'm sourcing once a week. I'm sourcing a lot more often during Q4 because the profit is there, the Amazon customers are there buying stuff, and you want to keep feeding it as much as you can. Stock those shelves. I also suggest checking your prices more often, just to make sure you are competitive to the buy box. That does not mean that you have to drop the price and match or lower prices to win the buy box. It just means be competitive. So I have a video I recently did, where I'll link it here, going over pricing in general, but you do not have to beat and drop and undercut to get the pricing and win the buy box. You can win the buy box above the buy box actually. So don't undercut and create a race to the bottom, because you don't have to. So for December, all your Christmas stuff should be into the warehouse by December 1st. So you're really doing all of that in November, but you just want to keep sending anything in. So if you're doing toys, now's the time where you might want to FBM, because if you can get it to the customer before Christmas, even though you can't send it to Amazon, you can still do it FBM. Keep checking your prices, keep sending in inventory. If it doesn't sell, it'll sell in January. And Amazon says technically you're not allowed to send stuff in for January until middle of December, but my stuff is selling year round. It's not that specific, so I just keep sending it. I don't really consider that. If it doesn't sell in December, it'll sell in January. Just keep feeding and stocking your shelf. In December, in addition to Christmas, there's also Green Monday, which is Monday the 13th in 2021. It's that Monday before, like, when people start to realize they're running out of time for shopping. So it's becoming more of a shopping holiday online. So it's just something to note that there might be increased sales around that time. So don't freak out that your stuff's not selling. It'll still sell if Amazon can get it to the customer in time and you have it priced competitively. Also is at the end of December is when you'll start seeing Valentine's Day, and we've already rolled back around to January, where sales still are really great. So that's the Amazon Retail Arbitrage Calendar. Like I said, if you want all of this in a written format, you can grab it on my email list. The link is below. I hope this video was helpful and gets you excited for what's come, Q4, and all of the great holiday sales that are headed your way. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you need any help from me, I have my guides, courses, and groups. Join the community below. Thank you guys so much. I will see you next time for another Amazon selling video.